Thank you so much, David. Was such a good try with my name. Very, very good. I'm not going to try your name, but I will say my name. Loung Ung. I am so happy to be here. And I heard a couple of gasps when you said restaurateur. Yes. I love to eat. I love food. And what better way to eat free and lots of good food than one, read a book called First They Killed My Father, which deals a lot with hunger and starvation. And there's an American saying that there is no such thing as a free lunch unless you write a book about how hungry you were and you just milk it for all it's worth. So my husband and I are actually, and my partners Sam McNulty and Andy Tavikim and Mike Foran, we're all partners of Market Garden Brewery, Barcento Beer Market, and Nano Brew. So I'm very, very happy Ohio City is home. Woohoo! Cleveland rocks. There is a Cambodian proverb that states, "You cannot claim heaven as your own if you are just going to sit under it." As I was walking here today on the farm, and this is a beautiful place, I think it's easy for us to forget that we live in a world populated by 7.3 billion other souls, of which 140 millions to 160 millions have died in some kind of state-sponsored wars in their countries. Due to this kind of violence, today, there are over 68 million refugees and IDPs, internally displaced people, who can't go home, who are forced out of their homes. And among them, over 25 million of them are children, 18 and under. We in America, we know that this is a great country. We love being here. But for us refugees, home is all over the world. Home was where we were born, and many of us wish to stay there if we could. We left because of violence, because of war, because of climate change, because of hungers and persecution. And that was my war in Cambodia, when the Khmer Rouge took over on April 17, 1975, and in a span of 3 years, 8 months, and 20 days. Not yet 4 years, an estimated of 1.7 to 2 million Cambodians would die to starvation, disease, executions, hard labor, out of a population of 7 million people. It wasn't safe for us to stay when the war ended. Among the victims of the Khmer Rouge regime were both my parents, 2 sisters, and 20 other relatives. And so we were looking for bridges, for places where we could go and rebuild our lives, where we could be safe, where we could have a home again. I was 10 years old when I came to America. I didn't know anything about America, and refugee workers at the Thai camps in Thailand would show us America, try to teach us America by show us movies on big screens, movies with plot lines that took place in cities like Chicago, New York. And we looked at the movies and we were like, yes, America. And they told us we were going to this place called Vermont, America. It is the whitest state in America. For more diversity, I eventually moved to Maine, America, the second whitest state in America. So I am so glad to be here. So glad to be Cleveland. In Cleveland rocks. Then in this Vermont, America, we were cold, we were hungry. I was 10, we didn't speak any English, and I had to learn it very fast. Unfortunately, it was the era of the Valley Girls, where we had to start all our sentences with duh and end them with gag me with a spoon. Growing up in a house where I speak still Chinese, Cambodian, and eventually picked up French and English, we tried to be very creative with our language. So I would go to school and say, gag me with a fork, gag me with a chopstick, Because if you can tell me why gag me with a spoon makes any more sense than gag me with a fork, I will put you in my next book, which is about vampire, zombie, and Buddhist mythology. In this Vermont, America, though it was safe, war didn't end for me. And the war came back in my sleep, in the twilight between day and light, in my dreams, when low-flying planes zoom in over the sky, when I hear the hums of a mother's song in the park, when I hear the father's laughter as they were playing games with their sons or daughters, the soldiers would come back to me. And I am so grateful that in Vermont there was a place called the Refugee Resettlement Programs. But when I had a hard time, there were people there to help. People who showed up to take my family and I to apply for welfare, to enroll us in school, to take us to the first dentist appointment I had 4 years after the war, which was not fun, but was needed. To take us to language classes, to register us to vote when we were able to teach us how to vote and take power, to show us ways to be friends, to build bridges, to become part of a community, to show us that friendship and love and light in a new whole world for us is possible and doable if we were given support and given help. These are the kind of services that are being provided at the Refugee Response Program. I have been so privileged to have met so many people doing this life-changing work every single day. You would not believe all the small and wonderful things that were provided to us by ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and it made all the difference in the life that we would live and build and heal, so that we could go from surviving our wars to thriving in America in our new life. This is the work the Refugee Response Program is doing right now. It is the work that is being done not only for refugees, not only for the new citizens of Cleveland, but for us, for our communities, for all of us here, so that we could be vibrant, so we could be and build a better world. We can build a safer world. For in my life, even though I've seen and have seen the worst of man's inhumanity to man, and that scarred my heart, and that made me hurt, and that made me hate, and that made me be full of rage. And the work that Patrick and all his staff and volunteers and all of you being supported by you, with you being here, showing us that you care, and that you don't just care, but you are taking actions to make our world better. These are the kind of acts. These are the kinds of generosities, the kind of lights and examples of the best of man's humanity to man, that heals the scars, that heals our souls, that shows us that together, this world is a better place. And together, we can create a safer and better place for all of us. Thank you.